Hello, Hateless Gaming here, bringing you another EVE Online guide, or video, whichever you want to call it. Today we're going to highlight my favorite mission ship, the Macario. This is the ship that I use to blitz regular level 4 missions, and I use it very proficiently. It can also do full clears if flown correctly. I have two fits to share with you guys, and I'm going to go over the general use of the Mac. So, first of all, we picked the Macario for a mission ship because of two things. It's got a large projectile turret damage and rate of fire bonus. It's got 25% rate of fire and 5% bonus per projectile damage. At Minmatar Battleship level 4, we end up with a 20% bonus to damage. At 5, we have a 25. I'm going to assume that you trained it to 4 if you're buying a Mac. I'm just going to make the assumption that you trained your skills to 4. Most people don't train them to 5. You don't need to train your battleship skills to 5 to fly a Macario proficiently. Just not necessary. But at the same time, having them to 5 is it's quite nice, I gotta say. But 3, you can train it to 4 in like 4 days. I'd really recommend training it to 4. The other bonus that we get is the large projectile turret fall off, which this is what makes the Mac incredibly versatile for a projectile turret gun or projectile turret ship. Uh, this gives it teeth out to 60 kilometers without any bonuses, or no, with tracking enhancers and whatnot, and teeth out to like 45 kilometers should you not use tracking enhancers on your fit. But even at level 4, 40% projectile fall off is huge. The 50% at level 5 is just insane. I got like a 72 kilometer fall off on my projectile turrets, which allows me to reach anything in a mission regardless of where in the mission I landed. Sometimes there's a mission where they're like 100 kilometers out. You're going to have to travel for those either way. The other thing, aside from the gun's versatility and its ability to output a lot of damage, is it's got this 50% bonus to warp speed and warp acceleration. That bumps it from 2 AUs up to 3 as a base. And when we fit ascendancies in our head and hyperspatials in the rigs, you can get this thing moving up to 8 AUs, which is the speed of a T1 frigate. For reference, that's very fast. It can get to and from a mission very quickly. You spend very little time in between the missions. Once you start blitzing, you're going to learn that's really important. But for full clears, it's not that big of a deal. If you're still chipping away at missions, that warp speed bonus isn't going to do you a whole lot. But when you can do a mission in a couple minutes, you don't want to be spending 2 minutes traveling to the mission, another 2 minutes coming back. Cut that time down. It really helps you out a lot. Anyways, done with the Mac as a whole itself. If we go into the fitting menu, we get 7 turret higher points, and it has 8 high slots, which means it has a utility high. We can fit a tractor beam to carry in our cargo containers that we may need to complete the mission, and this is supposed to be up. The requirements to fly is that you have Gallente and Minmatar Battleship up to 1, although I would really recommend up to 2. In the medium slots, we have 5 mid slots and 7 lows. This gives you the option to armor tank or shield tank, whichever you prefer. In PvE situations, that is. In PvP, I go with the thing's probably a better armor tank. Anyways, I digress from that because I don't know much about PvP in a Mac. But for PvE, it's a really good armor tank and it's a really good shield tank. You can do either or depending on your skills. I'm going to share a cheap armor fit and a more expensive shield fit. The thing about fitting the thing with an armor tank is armor reps are extremely cheap to come by, and you can keep the cost down with the armor tank. And whereas a shield tank, to do it properly, you're going to have to spend a lot more ISK, but it's going to be able to have more DPS at the end of the day, be able to apply more. It's going to do better as a shield tank than as an armor tank, but it's going to be more expensive as a shield tank. We're kind of going to go over that. So here is the cheaper Mac fit. I've used Metaphor guns because normally people start out with something like this. We have 800mm autocannons. We got the Metaphor modules. We have a T1 tractor beam to reduce CPU need. Whether or not you can use a T2 or a T1. A T2 gives you an extra 4 kilometers on the tractor beam, which is really helpful. We have 3 hyperspatials. If you prefer, this could be changed to like whatever you want. You don't need it to be hyperspatials. And then in the lows, we have magnetic field stabilizers. We have a Senta C-type large armor rep. You can get an X-type for like 110 mil, and that gives you a decent armor repair rate of 101 HP a second, which is plenty for missions. And then I have placeholders. I have 2 adaptive nano membranes. I would recommend bringing a rat-specific tank for this. I believe I went over that. I can't remember, but anyways, I'd bring a rat-specific tank for with this ship because you only have a 3-slot armor tank, and 3-slot armor tanks aren't a lot of tank. And then we have a large cat battery, a micro warp drive. These don't have to be shiny. You don't even have to bring them if you really don't want to. And we have 3 tracking computers. These can be replaced by cap rechargers or a micro jump drive or pretty much whatever you want to put in these slots. But I use tracking computers for additional damage application. This fit will allow you to do level 4s without a problem. With mid to low skills, it makes 600 to 700 DPS, and with high skills, this makes go to the hardware tab and throw some ammo in it. With high skills and faction ammo, we're looking at roughly 1,000 DPS, but lower skills, it makes 700 DPS fairly well. The other fit that I want to go over is the fit that I'm currently using, which I label as the proper blitz. This is how I currently fly my Mac. I only do a handful of missions at the time. This can also do any mission. I can full clear any mission should I need to. Paying proper attention to triggers and whatnot, this can do a full mission. But this is used for blitzing a mission where I only have to kill a couple things and leave. We have 4 Republic Fleet gyro stabilizers, 3 domination tracking enhancers. The reason for all this being faction is that it reduces the CPU use. As you see, we're kind of tight on CPU. For a Mac 24, it's pretty tight. And then we have a Gism shield booster. Gism shield boosters use less capacitor than Pith or regular T2, or not less. They use less CPU. They're a little bit easier to fit. And then we have a Shadow Separatist tracking computer. This can be a T2. You have just enough CPU to make this T2. We have a large micro jump drive. We have a Python C-type invuln and a micro warp drive. Between the micro jump drive and the micro warp drive, I have complete control of range. I don't know of any regular level 4s that scram you, so you can always hit that micro jump drive to get out should you get in trouble. And you can, the Mac is extremely fast with the micro warp drive. You also have the micro warp drive to navigate around the missions, and the tractor beam to pull things in, and T2 autocannons with the same ammo. We are looking at a whole almost 100 more DPS, and that's simply because of this. What this ship has that the other one doesn't is the range. We got a fall off of 68 kilometers. With this running on an optimal script is 72, which the other one doesn't have as much range. It has almost as much, but it's not quite as versatile. It doesn't have the tracking and the range like this one does. But yeah, that's the Macario. That's why I use it. That's the 2 fits I use. For mission running, you always pull your triggers. You don't need much tank if you pay attention to triggers for mission running. Everybody fly safe, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.